everybody, welcome back to the Escentual Owl. Erin here to make another cold process soap. This is going to be a repeat of a soap that I have made several times on this channel. It is probably the favorite of this customer of mine that does these custom order cold process soaps. She has ordered it every single time she's placed an order with me. She said that it is her best seller. She cannot keep it off of her shelf, or on her shelf, I should say. But it is definitely so good. This is actually one of my favorites as well. Today we are making the Fresh Snow fragranced soap. And I will put the notes, the fragrance notes, up on the screen. Do not let this scent name fool you. There is nothing in this scent that screams snow or cold or winter or Christmas or anything like that to me. This very much smells like a clean smell, if that makes any sense at all. It reminds me of laundry detergent or like fabric softener, like the clean cotton scent from Yankee Candle or something like that. It is so good. I love this fragrance. It is super nice. And I've already got my fragrance oil in my base oils. And actually, I'm going to give this a quick mix because this has been sitting at room temperature for a bit, and there is some bits that have started to solidify, but if I give it a quick stir, they should reincorporate because they're not completely solid. They've just started to, I don't have a better way to describe it. They've started to coagulate. So there you go. That looks a lot better. I don't have much to go into before I get started, which I'm sure some of you are like, oh, thank goodness. I do want to address the fact that I know that my table is messy. I have been cutting soap and putting together my oil bases and lye water solutions and everything else. The table is a mess. We're going to pretend like it's not. And that's all I have to say about that. So I am, however, going to go ahead and show you all my colorants, just in case you haven't seen the other videos. But the base of this soap is going to be made with this Klein blue mica powder. This blue is amazing. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but it is a super nice, pretty shimmery blue. It's a good navy blue or royal blue, I guess. It's more of a royal than a navy in my opinion, but this is the main color, and then I do a swirl with, let me put my top back on just in case I bump it. I'm going to be doing a swirl with activated charcoal. There you go, the pit of nothing. But yeah, that will be our accent color. That is always how I make this soap for her. And every time I take her this soap, she says, please make more of the black and blue soap. So it will stay that color scheme for now. And the reason that I go ahead and add the blue to my base color is because the entire soap is black and blue. So I don't mind going ahead and mixing the blue into the base because it just saves a step for me. I'll be completely honest. There's really no other reason for it. It just saves that extra step, and that's really all I have to say about it. I am going to add more though, because it seems like usually when I make this, I have to add quite a bit of blue to keep it from being a strange green-gray blue. And that's not because of the mica, that's because of the base oils. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to take my spatula out And I think that we can jump right into the making of this soap. All right, so that's all the mixing I'm gonna do. You can see how nice and fluid this still is. You guys, this fragrance oil behaves beautifully. I have never had this fragrance accelerate on me. It almost seems to loosen up Trace a little bit. I don't think that that is actually mentioned in the notes by Brambleberry for this fragrance, but that certainly seems to be the case for me. That being said, please keep in mind that everyone's recipe behaves a little bit differently, so your results may vary. Make sure you're testing your fragrances, but just very fluid, a great pourable consistency, and look at that color. Oh, it's such a nice metallic blue color. So now I am going to pour a little bit off to use for our accent color. Not a whole lot. And this will be what we add our charcoal to. And it doesn't need much, and I don't necessarily want it to be totally black. I think it looks pretty neat when it's black with a noticeable blue sheen to it, so it doesn't need much. I added about a teaspoon in there, if you can see it. So now I'm actually going to stick blend this to make sure everything is all good and incorporated. Alright, so the stick blender has had enough with this batch. Oh, I really need to replace this head. But because I'm on a pretty tight schedule, I cannot wait for the new one to come in. I can't stop making soap and wait for a new one to come in. So I'm just going to have to work with what I've got. And I know why it's doing that now. I did an inspection of my blender, and the little plastic part, this part right here, actually has a little bit of a crack in it. So, or actually quite a bit of a crack. So it actually, that is the reason why that part keeps falling off and it keeps separating. But this is the color we ended up with. You can see it is black, but it's also blue. It's like a midnight blue. Very, very, very nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do an in the pot swirl. So I'm going to pour at,
I might have spoken too soon about this not actually accelerating on me. That would be a first. So, let me give this a quick, okay. It's not as thick as I thought. So, this is going to be a little bit different than it has been the last couple of times. Nothing wrong with that, just different. There should still be a pretty noticeable swirl. And I do think I'm going to add more of this. I want to save some for the top, not a whole lot. I also don't want to over mix this, so that's all that I'm going to do. I want to wipe this up because I'm always making messes. And by the way, this is accelerating because it is quite warm. I let the lye water sit for as long as I could, but it was taking too long. Or really, I was just getting impatient, is what it was. So I'm just pouring this in here into this mold. And it will pile up, but when I give it a good bang down onto the table, it will be just fine. So I'm actually going to leave that. And of course, I spilled some all down the side. Because why wouldn't I? Hum-da-dum-da-dum. Okay, so I'm going to give this a quick bang down on the ground to settle it down into the mold. All right, now clean up my sides here. This fragrance smells so good. So now I'm going to take some of that black blue that I had left over, pile that on here. Oh, lightning, do you all see that? Oh goodness, that was a good one. Sure you all can hear the storm going in the background. I mentioned it in another movie. Oh, that was a big one. Oh boy, my dogs are about to start freaking out, I can guarantee it. They're all afraid of storms. Anyway, it has been extremely stormy here today, which is very strange because it is the end of July and we usually have our stormy weather in the spring. We almost never, ever, at least as far as I can remember, have never had storms like this in the spring, or in the summer, I should say. Always the spring. So it's very strange. All right, now that I've got those colors on there, I am going to give it another bang down to settle it. Okay, and I do have some running down the side, so I'm just going to scrape that off really quick so that I can swirl quickly. All right, so I got myself just a dropper and I'm just going to swirl this top a little. Not going too far in, I only want to swirl the top. And because it's setting up, it will be quite textured. I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm going to bang it down one more time. All right, now all I have to do is clean up my sides. Sorry if this hasn't been as in frame as it usually is. I'm getting used to this new camera tripod and it films at a different angle. All right, let's bring you all in for a close-up. So that's what we've got going for us today. Isn't it so pretty? I know that it's kind of hard to see the contrast between the black and the blue at certain angles, but I promise it's a pretty prominent contrast, and I love that top. The texture, I just love the way that that infinity swirl makes the top of a soap look. It smells amazing. I hope the inside is going to be really nice. It did thicken on me, and that's because I didn't wait long enough for it to cool down to where I normally do. So that is something to keep in mind, but that's all that I have for you all for this portion of the video. I'll see you back for the cut. Hello everyone, it is the next day, and we are going to cut the Fresh Snow soap that we made. You can see those sides. So I think our inside is going to look the way that it almost always does, which is great. There is a little bit of pitting on the other side, and you can see a gel ring. This one almost always gels that way. Let me flip this around here. Let me see. So you can see that there is a little bit of pitting, but it's nothing big. It's not deep. I'm not worried about it. Once I get it cut, it'll be no big thing. And here is the top. Isn't that so cool? I just love it. I love the texture. You can feel all those ridges, and it's really, really nice. This is one of my favorite soaps that I make for this customer. And I am ready to get a cutting so I can get everything up on the shelf. Up on the rack, I should say. Okay, so there's the back. You can see that gel ring there in the middle. And then there is the inside. Look at that. Ooh, it looks like I have found the secret to marbling soap. Look at that. Does that not look like marble? Am I on drugs? I mean, that looks like marble to me. Yes, I love it. And then there's the top. Yep, I think that I have found the way to marble soap. I'm so excited. I'm glad that I was able to replicate that other soap, the lilac soap that had the marble. There's one side and the other, because the possibilities are endless, just endless. I mean, look at that. Does that look like marble? Please tell me in the comments below. Am I just on drugs? Am I just entirely too excited? I mean, I'm so excited. So the storms are finally over. I haven't left the house yet this morning, but it seems like there are quite a few people that have some pretty hefty damage. I've been seeing some posts on Facebook about trees falling and splitting and buildings getting blown around, like outdoor storage buildings, I mean. And it doesn't look the greatest. My neighbor actually posted a picture of the tree in her front yard. It split and blocked the road last night. So that is crazy because it's a big giant maple tree. And it's that's insane to me. Now we have an even bigger maple. It's a different variety. I couldn't tell you what the two varieties are, but they are two different kinds of maple trees. I don't know if my tree is older or if it's just that the variety of maple tree that I have just gets bigger or what, but it's actually fine, which thank goodness, because it is literally right beside the house. So if that thing were to go, it would fall in this direction because it's got the main trunk and then it's got 4 different leaders that come off of it, and one side of it leans way over this way and the other one is pretty straight up. And we always just kind of worry about it. We keep thinking about having an arborist, I think that's the right word, an arborist come out and look at it and tell us if this tree, make sure that it's healthy. There's no giant dead branches in it or anything like that. So I think that it'll be okay. But if that tree goes, it's going to be bad news, Betsy, for our house. Now, I do have a row of peach trees in my backyard. And unfortunately, it does look like those have taken some damage. So that's really a little bit of a bummer. Sorry for the terrible lighting. The sun rises on the other side of the house, so it's still quite dark on this side, even with the overhead light and this desk light over here, this little desk lamp being on. Let me get you all in for a close-up. Look at that. That looks like marble. I don't know if anybody could convince me otherwise. That's crazy. But the good news is I haven't seen any news about anyone being hurt or anything like that. It looks to be mostly some light structural damage and some trees, and that's pretty much it. So that's a very good thing, because those storms were rough all day and night yesterday. Because when the first wave of storms blew in, that's when we had that tornado watch, or tornado warning, I'm sorry, excuse me. And then the second time around, we were under a tornado watch, but it never became a warning. So that's good. Ooh, that one's interesting. See that? I really like it. Sorry if I'm quiet also. I'm sure some of you don't mind it, but I'm just not a huge morning person. It takes me a long time to get going in the morning. I'm one of those people where if I haven't had my coffee, just try not to say too many words to me, and definitely no big words, because yeah. There's one side and the other. And here is the last bar of our Fresh Snow Fragrance cold process soap. The back. See, I love this. Yep, I do. I have found a new favorite technique. So that's all that I have for you all today. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, turn that notification icon on so that you never miss it when I upload. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me how your day is. Just say hi. I love hearing from you guys. It makes my day. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.